Hi, this is DeGraffenried, 21st century Renaissance man. And today I want to show you how to make a stone marble with just basic tools I've got here in the garage. What you start with, here, come up a little bit closer here so we can see it real close. What you start with is a rock that you cut into a cube. What I have is this tool here that has a saw. It has diamond pieces inside of the blade, and I can cut the stone and make it into a cube. And then what I do with the cube is I have a grinder here, a wheel that has diamonds in it, and it'll grind this cube, and I'll make it as spherical as I can first with this. And then once I have it as spherical as possible, I'll take and put it in a little piece of carborundum. What carborundum is used for is it's also called silicon carbide. It's used mostly in a grinding wheel like this, you know, to grind on metal and stuff. Mostly they use a silicon carbide type thing for grinding on rocks, you know. And what I do is I'll take a wheel like this and I'll cut it in pieces, and then take a Dremel tool and I'll make a hole in it. So I'll take and grind a hole in it. Now this is also a diamond bit on this Dremel tool here. And so what I'm using now today is it's instead of using a wheel, my brother and I bought these carborundum blocks, and I cut a piece off of the end and then cut a hole in it. So I'm going to use that. And also I've got this other piece. This was from a bigger wheel that kind of broke to pieces, but it'll do the trick. And I just carved out a hole on it like that, and that's sufficient. And what I end up doing is, once I have this in a sphere, I'm going to put it in this block here and put it up against this wheel. Now this is a piece of rubber. I think it came off of a mud flap, and I just cut a circle and glued it on the wheel here. So I'll end up putting this sphere inside of here and putting it up against there, and you'll see it as I do it, and it'll roll inside of there until it's perfectly spherical. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start this machine here, and I got to turn some water on here so it keeps a little bit of water dripped on there, and that keeps those diamonds cool and keeps it lubricated and keeps the dust down. And this rock here is kind of a piece of funny flint that we found in Nephi, Utah. So I'm going to go ahead and start grinding it. I'll grind off one of the corners there. See, and I'll just keep it going around, and I'll grind off those corners there. And as I go around, I'll make it a little bit rounded on the edges, see? So I'll do this as fast as possible. So we'll grind off all these edges. See, now I've got kind of a cylinder there. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I'll try to get it as perfect as possible, but you can see that it's got a cylinder shape. Now what I'll do is I'll just kind of take one side and start rounding it out. I lost my water. I need to turn the water on a little bit better. I lost the water, so instead of just trying to stop this, it's just going to have to get a little bit dusty. And this isn't really a super hard rock, so it's not going to hurt the diamond. So you can see the difference of why I like to use the water on there, because this just gets too dusty. It's not really good to breathe it. because I have a little pump in a bucket that's putting water in through a tube up here that keeps my water coming through here, and the pump kind of stopped. It's actually a pump that's kind of used in a fish tank or something. I just rigged it up, and it's probably got some gunk or something in there, but it'll be fine. So I've got one side rounded out there. Now I'll round this other side here. This here, while I'm doing this, I might as well tell you, it's a kind of an interesting rock. We got it down in Nephi, Utah, where you can get fossilized palm wood, you know, from palm trees. And although the palm wood, you kind of have to dig around for it because it's really kind of hard to find. You got to dig around on the surface and in the dirt and stuff to find them. And I've been down there a few times and I haven't really found a lot of good of the palm wood, but we're always running across some other really interesting rocks like this one. And the only thing I can explain it is it just seems like it's a piece of flint or something. And it just grinds really well, makes really pretty marbles. It makes interesting other lapidary work like cabochons and jewelry and stuff. It's kind of a nice light green color. It's not super hard or anything, but it's hard enough that it makes a good one. Now what I'm doing here is just kind of going rounding and stuff, rounding it out, because if there's edges on it, it doesn't turn very well when you start it. So I make it, while I'm on the diamond wheel here, as spherical as possible. And so you could almost call that a marble, but it just isn't perfect. So I'll get that. Now the next thing I'll do, we'll pull this out here where you can see it. Now I'm going to put this here in my carborundum block and put it up against this rubber wheel. I about lost my marbles. A lot of times you flips out of there. So this is the part where you kind of got to be careful. See it there? Now we got it spinning in there. Okay. I've lost too many marbles in this garage with it flipping out of there like that. One of the reasons it flipped out of there is because I didn't round it out very good, and so as it started turning, it had too much bounce in it, and it caused it to bounce out of there. And you can see that really gets turning fast in there. See that? On this rubber wheel, I took and made some grooves along the outside, and that helps a lot because I can get out here and it helps vibrate that marble in the block so that it gives a little bit more traction or a little bit more grinding. It helps grind it out pretty good. Well, what I'm saying is that it doesn't get perfectly round at first. You might be able to see on here. Let me wet it down so you can see it. So you can see how it's going round there, but you end up, I don't know if you can see it, but there's flat spots in there, you know, and so it takes a little bit of time to get it perfectly around. So you just keep working at it, and that's why I have those grooves in there, because that helps bounce it. See right there, it's kind of just too smooth and it's not doing anything. But I get out here where those grooves are in the rubber, and it really causes it to grind. About lost my marbles again. This carborundum block isn't as good as some others. And that's why I'm holding on to this one. Even though it's all broken up and stuff, it's one of the best carborundum blocks I've had. And so it really does a good job at grinding the marbles. So I just keep a hold of it. And that's about all it takes to make a good marble. There's a few more things you can do. You know, just take a little bit of time to get all the flat spots out of it. And then what else I like to do is take a piece of sandstone, and I'll make a block like this out of sandstone and polish it. And I'll just grab a piece of sandstone real quick and show you. See this one? Piece of sandstone, nothing fancy, just something I picked up off the ground. I'll stick it in there and bend it in there a little bit. That has a different grind to it, and that helps polish it a little bit. See, it's starting to get polished up a little bit. And I'll just wet it down one more time. See, and that's about it. It's almost done. Just a few more flat spots to work out. But that's how you make a marble. Can you see it very good, or is it too bright? There it is. Are you done?